everybody, welcome to another episode of The Den with me, Bboy Volk. Today we're going to talk about 90s and 2000s. You guys have been waiting for this episode, have you not? So, like I said with my flair, if it's a little bit longer, I'm not sorry because I have a lot of things to talk about. Okay? I also have a couple different ways of practicing 90. I'm going to start with 90 first. So use whatever method works best for you. So before I talk about how to do a 90, I'm going to talk about the gear, okay? So you don't have to wear an elbow pad, but I do. I feel that an elbow pad kind of holds my clothes up a little bit, so if I do a 90, sometimes like this will come down here and it'll like mess me up. I don't really want that. So I just always place an elbow pad here, and at this point I'm just kind of like used to it. So I use wrist protectors. When you spin on a 90 and a 2000, we are spinning right here. So you see the little black spot right here? I was just practicing my 90s. So we want to spin right on this area right here. Okay? So to do that, I recommend grabbing like a glove, fingerless gloves. This is a Nike Fit Dry glove. It's just like a regular glove. If you can see here, I practice a lot of 90s and 2000s because this stuff happens. Recently, I started using double pads because just wearing this and just wearing this still kind of hurts my wrist a little bit. So I've now done, I have like my wrist protector, and then I put this thing on, and on top of this I put my glove. The other reason I do this is because this glove is kind of by this point. It's a little horror story. Don't ever do spins on carpet, especially if you have like some holes in your gloves. And I was practicing with TAC. I'm sure they remember this story. I did a 2000 on the carpet, and when I finished, I was like, "Wow, I feel like a gust of wind on my hand. Why?" And I looked down, and like the whole skin of my hand was ripped off. Because I was on the carpet and I spun so fast that it just peeled off the skin. It wasn't like a life-changing injury, but it was just very annoying to deal with, and it took like a month to heal, and you don't want to waste that time. So don't do it on carpet. If you're gonna do it on carpet, don't. I've also seen people wear like wristbands and just spin off that. If you want to do maybe like 2 or 3, use like a wristband, but if you're aiming to hit like 5, 10, more than that, use a glove, okay? Which also, like, I've seen people like I've done 90s at jams and people are like, "Oh, he's wearing a glove." Who the f cares, man? There's no point, in my opinion, to be cool about like not wearing protective gear when you're practicing something. I don't see like that is such like an egotistical thing to say. And you know, you're practicing one-handed elbow air flare critical suicide 3000. Oh, why are you wearing a pad when you do that? What are you, some kind of baby? Dude, those people need to go home and people off, okay? Those type of people aggravate me to no extent. So, before you do a 90 or a 2000, obviously you can get a handstand. So, you know, you should be able to do a handstand. Even beforehand, I recommend just practicing walking. So, like, practice like 3 steps and I finish. So we're going here. 1, 2, 3. Stop. And then we're going to turn and do it again. 1, 2, 3. Turn. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Little 5, not 3 on the last ones. Do stuff like that. Practice stuff like turning in a handstand. So if we're here, okay, do stuff like that. If you have a pirouette and a skyscraper, if you watch my other videos, this would be a good time to practice it too. Remember, you can also try doing a pirouette and just like lifting your fingers off the ground to try to spin a little bit. So if we're gonna do a pirouette, stuff like that. Another caveat about spins is they're very hit and miss. Even the professionals, sometimes they'll hit 25, sometimes they'll hit 2. So I don't recommend spending a whole training session working on spins. Do like 15 minutes a practice session. Like, you know, if you're doing like 90s, 2000s elbow spins, 5 minutes a piece on each one each day, you'll be fine. Anything more is just better practice. I'm now going to talk about 2 different ways. I'm going to talk about the way I learned, and then I'm going to talk about the way VN teaches his 90s, okay? So I'm going to talk about the way I learned. So when we spin in a 90, our goal is to get into this position to start, and then we're going to clamp our head to our arms, and we're going to, like, not kick, but lock our legs in and lock and twist them so it spins your body and you can spin it. So we start, we go into it nice and open like this, and then we go into this position. So the flag freeze, or a Nazi freeze, we don't really use that name for it anymore, but when I was growing up, people used to call it the Nazi freeze. This is early 2000s. People were not very PC early 2000s. I'm old, okay? Next step would be to do a pirouette, get into that position, and then let go and try to spin. Okay? So now we're going to go from a pirouette, so we're going to do a pirouette. So we're here, left arm here, leg up, come to here, let go. I locked my legs there because I was going very slowly. I'm going to try to do a little bit more speed. All I'm going to do is try to keep my legs open. I'm not bending, I'm just keeping my legs open. Pirouette, go on one hand, legs open. Sorry, I forgot to mention, your head. When you go into it, you have an option. You can either do it like front, and like a lot of the American B-boys that I see, and they do stuff like this, or they look at their hand when they spin, or you can be like the Korean B-boys and look forward, like this. I personally think this looks better, but I'm a little bit scared to go all the way down here. So me personally, I have a nice little balance point. I put my head here, yet I'm looking down a little bit. I'm not looking straight here, I'm looking like right here. So I'm not looking straight down here, and I'm not looking here. If I look here, my head is sticking out, which f***s up the form of my spin. So I'm here, everything is aligned and straight, but I'm looking more up here. Okay, so now we're going to do a pirouette with all those things in mind. Remember, keep your legs open. We're going to go nice and open, and then once you get to 2 hands in, don't let go early. 2 hands have to hit the floor, let go, and try to spin. Okay, here we go. Something like that. Try to keep both legs up. One more time. One more time. Alright, so you got that first part down, you're spinning a little bit. Now let's try to drill, okay? So, a drill is basically, we are locking our feet together and doing very fast spins that look like 3 or 4, but it's actually only like 1.5. Okay? So, to practice that, we're going to go into a handstand with the legs open, and then we're just going to close them up. Okay? So we're going to go here, and put your head to your hand and your hips up, just so you get used to that whole feeling. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Now that we have my way down, let's talk about how VN teaches it. Well, VN basically teaches it the same way. He says to focus on that collapsing motion. Okay. So now we're going to do a pirouette, and now we're just going to collapse into a 90. Okay, with our legs. One more time. Woo! Spin a little fast. This is where the 2000 comes into play. If you're interested in learning the 2000, this is where it divulges a little bit. Everything else is the same for a 2000 up to this point. Okay, except instead of one hand, the other hand is coming here, and you want to make sure that your knee is coming into the back of your knee. So we're going like this. Okay, we're not doing that. So we're not doing this. You can at the start, like this, but your goal should be like that. Okay? So I'm gonna do a 90 and then a 2000 just from a handstand like that, okay? So we're going here and same thing with the 2000. Going here. Some would say 2000 a little bit easier because you have two hands to keep holding your body up. And remember, I'm pushing up against like this. So we're essentially doing this. Okay, here, here. Remember, like this, like this. If you want to do your 2000s like Wing, the reason I do this is because Wing does that. So whenever I do my 2000s, if you look at my knees, hold on. I try to lock at my knees so it looks nicer when I spin. This doesn't look as nice, you know. I also feel like if I do this, sometimes my legs will have a tendency to do that, and I don't think that looks good for a 2000. I think it looks better if you just like spin like that. Okay, cool. So for 2000, we're going to do the exact same leg close-in, except we're going to put both of our hands. We're going to put both of our hands here and push up against it, okay? Now, if you're scared, the best thing I can tell you is just to go into the position of the 2000, like this, and just practice holding it. And then just take your time, goes nice and slow, and you'll get it in time. One more secret tidbit about 2000. For a 90, our hands are going pretty far apart, okay? For a 2000, our hands are coming very close together. Alright, so watch my 90 and then watch my 2000 and look at my hands. Okay, I'm going to do a 90 first. Oh, that one. Do it again. Again. Hey man, I'm not hitting my 90s today. But you can see my hands are super far out when I do my 90. Alright, let me my 2000. You see how close my hands are for a 2000? The whole point is going from here, like that. And make sure, when you're doing it, you're looking somewhere here. Not like this, not like that. And you could do this if you want, but dealer's preference. Okay, and the last thing, 90s. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is the part where I'm at right now. So trying to increase my repetition number. The thing that the end says is when people do 90s, do a lot of this stuff. Okay? You have to engage your whipping leg to turn your body and push up against the floor. So we're here. You saw that spin I just did just now, just my leg. Now, granted, I'm not there yet. I'm still working on this part, but I'm just trying to give you guys the best information that I have. So when I do my 90 and I try to get for a lot of spins, I'm really trying to open up my inner thighs right here. So I'm in kind of like this position. And then once I catch it, my legs come closer and closer. This leg comes here, and then we push up. And you finish her with the drum. Alright, here we go. I need new gloves, man. These gloves are not doing well. Baron, you f***ing me up, man. The thing I said about the start of the video is perfectly showcased here. Spins are a hit or miss. You saw my 90s. Like, the form looks okay. I'm just like not hitting it today. So don't be discouraged. I was like kind of discouraged looking at my footage, but I think it's a good way to showcase the ups and downs of spins. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna try 91. I'm gonna try 2000 first. The one thing I forgot to tell you is to twist. Okay, so as you go in, twist and catch that speed. All right, here we go. Ooh, that was one of my best 2000s ever. Whew. Just so from there you can notice it's about pushing up and twisting at the same time, and like putting your knees together. Man. Okay, friends, and one more try with my 90s. Let's see how it goes. I find the biggest success is when I feel my fingers grabbing the floor and then I can let go and spin. So, I think those two are the best you're going to get. Let me see one more time. One more time. Ugh. Spins are a fickle mistress. Where's that from? Somebody tell me. Those are your 90s, those are your 2000s. I most likely will upload a updated tutorial once I get like more spins under my belt and then get a new f***ing glove. So keep a lookout for that. Keep practicing, guys. Remember, spins are fickle. Don't be discouraged. If it's not working, work on something else. Don't worry about it. See you next video. See ya. Peace.